We're going to continue to look at our coordinate plane, and today we're going to focus on graphing the lines in the coordinate plane and also writing the equations of our lines. We're going to look at two formats. We're going to look at the slope-intercept form and the point-slope form of our equations. When you come to class, we will continue this discussion and we'll look at how we classify lines as parallel, intersecting, or coinciding. The two forms of equations, we'll start with the point-slope form. Its format is y minus y sub 1 equals m times the quantity x minus x sub 1. Your m is the value of your slope. The y sub 1 is the y-coordinate of a point on the line, and x sub 1 is an x-coordinate of a point on your line. So if we come over here and we take a look at this example, if we are given a slope of 2 and an ordered pair of 4, 3, we would sub into our equation, so we would have y minus our y sub 1, which is the 3, equal to our m, or slope of 2, times our quantity x minus x sub 1, which in this case is the 4. And there is your form. And I want you to notice here that even though this looks like these are a negative 3 and a negative 4, in reality, since your formula is minus y sub 1 and minus x sub 1, you need to look at this as both of those coordinates being positives. Our slope-intercept form is in the form of y equals mx plus b. M again is your slope, and b is the y-intercept. And remember, this is what this means. That's where it crosses the y-axis. So given a slope of 3 and a y-intercept of 6, put in our slope-intercept form, we would have y equals 3x plus 6. Two other equations that we will work with in this section are our vertical line equations. Those are always in the form of x equals a, and a is the x-intercept. So in this case, x equals 5 is a vertical line, and it is crossing the x-axis at 5. And the equation of a horizontal line is in the form of y equals b, where b is the y-intercept. So you have a horizontal line in this way, so it'll cross the y-intercept, or y-axis, and in this case it will cross at 2. Let's take a look at the two forms. We're going to start off with the point-slope form. We've been given a slope of 6 and the point 3, negative 4. So we copy down our point-slope form, and then all we are really going to do then is we're just going to place in. So our slope of 6 will be placed for our m. Our negative 4 will be placed in our y sub 1, and our 3 will be placed in our x sub 1. And it would look like this. So notice over here we have y minus a negative 4, which in reality would come back to a positive 4. So if you were looking at this and wanting to graph it, if it said y plus 4, in reality you should know that this is a negative 4, and over here this is y minus 3. Well, the coordinate is really a positive 3. And look at the point that we started with. I want you to do this next one on your own. You notice that they gave you 2 points instead of a point and the slope, so it will be up to you, first of all, to use these 2 points to find your slope, and then use this point and whatever you found for your m, whatever you find your slope to be, then put it in your formula. So pause the video, do that, and then when you're finished, turn it back on. Okay. Your slope you should have found to be 0. We're going to put that now in our point-slope form. So we're going to put 0 in for our slope, and then we're going to take our 1, put that in our x sub 1, and the 2 we're going to put in our y sub 1. And here we have. Notice that this, you might want to say that this is a negative 2 and this is a negative 1, but remember your formula. So these are really the point, is the point 1, 2. Let's look at our second one. Oh, and we can finish this up a little bit further. If we multiply out that 0, then of course we get 0. Now we're going to look at the slope-intercept form. We do need to find the slope, so that's the first thing we'll do. You'll put in your slope formula and solve that, and that's going to give you a slope of 1. Now we're going to take the slope and one of the points. In this case, we're going to take this point. We're going to sub these into our y, our x, and our m, and we're going to solve this for b. So if we solve this for b, we find that b equals 1. Now we're going to go back and put our slope in and our b in. So our final, or our points, our slope-intercept form final equation is y equals x plus 1. Okay, again, I want you to pause the video and I want you to do this one. Put it in slope-intercept form. When you're finished, turn the video back on. Alright, I hope the first thing you did was find your slope and that it was a -2. And now you can use your -2 and one of your points. In this case, I used my point -1, 3. And then I subbed in. So my -1 would go here for y and my 3 would go here for the b. Sorry, for my x. And now we would have 3 equal to -2 times -1 plus b. Solve this for b, and we would get a 1, and then rewrite in your final form. So we would get y equal to your slope of negative, that should be a -2x, plus your b of 1. Okay, I'm going to show you 2 examples of graphing using each of these equation forms, and then you'll finish up and graph the last 2 on your own. So the first one we're going to look at is y equal to 1/2 x plus 1. So of course that's your slope-intercept form. So in each case, if we are given slope-intercept form, we're going to start with our y-intercept, and then we come over here to our slope. We have a rise of 1 and a run of 2. We do see that it is positive, so we know that it will be going up to the right. So we graph our y-intercept of 1, and then we have a rise of 1 and a run of 2, and then we plot our point. Okay, now let's take a look at one that is in point slope form. We have to look at, remember we talked about these points and their these coordinates and their signs. So we do know that we have a slope of -2, and so we could rewrite that as -2 over 1 if you would like. So you know that you have not a rise really, but you're going to fall 2, and then you're going to run 1. And our point, so if we look up here, if we have a +4, we know that the 4 is negative, and if we have a -3, we know that the 3 is positive. So this is one of the points. So actually, this is what you're going to start with. So you'll plot that point -4, 3, and then your, or sorry, it's up here. And then you're going to use your rise to run. So we're actually going to fall 2, and then we're going to run 1. We're going to plot that point, and then graph your line. So I want you to finish up with the last 2 graphs that I gave you and graph those, bring those back to class, and we'll continue the discussion on this section looking at parallel, perpendicular, and coinciding lines.